Welcome to the I'm Rich People channel. Rich people never waste time on these things. Hey, before we get into it, let me ask you something quietly. When you think about the way you spend your time each day, does it feel intentional or accidental? No judgment here. Really, because for a long time I was spending hours, days, even years on things that felt urgent, but were actually just distractions. They made me feel busy, but not any closer to the life I wanted. And here's the honest truth. There's a quiet but powerful difference between how wealthy people treat time and how everyone else does. And I'm not just talking about money rich, I mean people who feel full, focused, free. Because time, just like money, is a resource, and how you spend it matters even more than how much of it you have. So today, let's look at a few things that rich-minded people almost never waste time on, and why learning from that could help you build a life that feels richer in every sense. Let's walk through this slowly, like two friends figuring things out together. 1. Arguing with people who don't want to understand. This one hits deep. You know that feeling when someone misunderstands you, twists your words, challenges your choices, or dismisses your growth? It's tempting to explain, to correct, to convince. But here's the truth most wealthy people understand. You don't owe anyone a full explanation of your vision, especially if they're not open to hearing it. Time spent arguing with closed minds is time stolen from creating something better. Think of your time like a currency. Would you spend your last dollar trying to buy someone else's approval? Of course not. So here's the shift. Instead of trying to change minds, change your focus. Let people misunderstand you. Let them underestimate you. Then go build what they said you couldn't. 2. Obsessing over things outside their control. You know what rich-minded people don't do? They don't spend their mornings spiraling over the news, their afternoons gossiping, or their nights worrying about what someone said behind their back. Why? Because energy is limited, and every minute spent obsessing over something you can't change is a minute stolen from something you can. It's not that they don't care. It's that they're clear on what's theirs to carry and what's not. So let me ask you gently, what's something you've been worrying about that isn't actually your responsibility? Pause and breathe with that. Maybe you need to put it down for a while. Not because it doesn't matter, but because you matter too. Comparing their timeline to someone else's. Comparison is the thief of joy, but it's also the thief of momentum. Wealthy people don't waste time looking sideways, because they know this. Every time you compare your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20, you rob yourself of the growth that's actually yours. Social media makes this worse. It makes it feel like everyone is younger, richer, more successful, more beautiful, more everything. But behind every overnight success is usually a decade of quiet, unglamorous effort. So what if you trusted your own timeline today? What if you whispered to yourself, I'm not late, I'm just planting something that takes time to bloom? Would that change how you move? For saying yes to everything out of fear. Here's something wealthy people understand very well. Every yes is also a no to something else. When you say yes to things just to be liked, when you say yes out of guilt or fear or habit, you end up building a life full of things that don't actually reflect who you are. Wealthy minds are protective of their time. Not because they're rude, but because they're clear. They say no to the good, so they have space for the great. So if you've been feeling stretched too thin, ask yourself this. What's one thing I've been saying yes to that I actually need to let go? Start there. Seeking motivation instead of building discipline. This one might sting a little, but it's said with love. A lot of people waste time waiting to feel ready. Waiting for the motivation, the mood, the perfect conditions. But here's what rich-minded people do differently. They don't rely on motivation. They build systems. They know they won't feel inspired every day, so they create structures that move them forward anyway. They make it easy to do the right thing and harder to do the wrong one. So here's a small tip. Don't wait to feel like it. Design your day so it works even when you're not in the mood. Even the tiniest system is better than the biggest burst of temporary motivation. Let's take a breath. None of this is about becoming perfect. It's about becoming aware. You don't have to be rich today. You don't have to have it all figured out. But you can start valuing your time like someone who's going somewhere. Let's quietly recap what rich-minded people don't waste time on. Arguing with people who don't want to understand, obsessing over what's out of their control, comparing timelines, saying yes out of fear, waiting for motivation instead of building discipline. Now ask yourself, which one of these do I want to release today? Just pick one. Practice letting it go, even for a few minutes, because those minutes add up. And the more time you reclaim, the more space you create for wealth in your mind, your energy, your life. You don't need to be rich yet to act like someone who values their time. You can start now with one better boundary, one moment of clarity, one choice to protect your energy. Because people who feel rich, really rich, aren't the ones doing everything. They're the ones doing the right things, and you're allowed to join them, one small shift at a time. You've got this. If you don't subscribe to this channel, I'm Rich People, you might never hear from us again. But if you already did, congratulations, you're growing every single day.